Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam satu Malaysia to my respected panels. So today I am Arif Alfian bin Rohaizid from SR 243 and I will be presenting about my final year proposal defense. So the title for my final year project would be the relationship between core strength and balance among deaf football players. So without further ado, we move on with the introduction. So for those who don't know, deaf football players have been involved with the sport for a particular amount of time through the Malaysian Sports Deaf Association, or also known as MF MS Deaf. So in football, we all know football as a very physically demanding sport. So core strength and balance are very important inside the sport. So in this study, we will be researching about the relationship of core strength and balance among deaf football players. So in this study, there will be problem statements. So one of the two problem statements for the study is first that there is not enough research that has been done linked to the population. So as I just said, the population of deaf football players have not been involved in many articles before. So second is that researchers have been predominantly focused on other aspects and not core strength and balance. So a lot of the articles that have been available, a lot of them do not involve core strength and balance. So on to the purpose. So the purpose of this study is to determine whether there is or there is not a relationship between core strength and balance among deaf football players. So on to the research questions of the study. So there are three. So the first one is what are the levels of core strength among deaf football players? Second, what are the levels of balance among deaf football players? And third, what is the relationship between core strength and balance among deaf football players? Next is the research objectives. So the research objectives uh, are mainly answering the research questions from before. So here are the three research objectives. So on to the hypothesis of the study. So for the null hypothesis, it states that there is no significant relationship between core strength and balance among deaf football players. Meanwhile, for the alternative hypothesis, it states that there is significant relationship between core strength and balance among deaf football players. So on to the significance of the study. So there are two. First is to raise awareness on the importance of core strength and balance on deaf sports performance. Second is to understand the link between core strength and balance in deaf football players. So on to the limitations of the study. So these are two from many of the limitations. So first is the small sample size of the study. So in my study, I will be using only 20 male deaf football players, and 20 is a very low number of sample size. Second is the current research. The current research I will be conducting only involves the measurement of core strength and balance without including the factors such as body composition and fatigue. So here are the operational terms of the study. So first is core strength, second is balance, third is plank test, which will be measuring the first operational term, core strength, and fourth is the Y balance test. It will be measuring the second operational term, which is balance. So now we will be entering the literature review part of the presentation. Here are some of the core strength literature review. So one of the stated articles states that core strength is related to the ability of the muscles of the trunk to develop and maintain force. Core stability is concerned with the controlling the position and motion of the trunk relative to the pelvis. So here are some of the cited articles. So now on to the balance literature review. So here are some of the cited articles. So one of the articles stated that in football, balance plays a far crucial role in attributes such as dribbling, passing, juggling, and shooting by Mirosis 2023. And here are the literature that spoke about the relationship between core strength and balance. One of the cited articles states that stronger core musculature have associated with improved postural control, enhanced movement efficiency, and greater stability during athletic activities. So now we are entering the conceptual framework. So as you all know, the target population for my study would be male deaf football players ranging from the ages of 18 to 40. And the IV or independent variable for my study would be core strength. And the DV or dependent variable for my study would be dynamic balance. For core strength, we will be using the Planck test to measure, and it is measured in seconds from time to exertion. And the Y balance test would be measuring the dynamic balance. So there are three components of the Y balance test. So we are using the Pearson correlation coefficient to find the relationship between the core strength and dynamic balance. So the research design for my study. This study is a quantitative, non-experimental, and cross-sectional correlational study. So now we'll be entering the sampling segment of the study. So the population would be deaf footballers from MS Deaf Bukit Jalil. The sample size would be 20 footballers. The sampling technique would be a purposive sampling, and the inclusion and exclusion criteria are as stated. Inclusion will be including male football players with hearing impairment having a hearing loss of at least 55 decibel in the better ear, ages 18 and through 40 years old. And the exclusion criteria would be the presence of any acute or chronic lower limb, back, or core muscular injuries within the preceding 6 months that could impair maximal testing performance. So for the sample size, I have used G-Power to find it. So this is based on a benchmark article or an article that is very close to my study. So the G-Power is the statistical test would be correlation by variate normal model with a correlation power of 0.65 and a power of 0.8. So the sample size obtained would be 16. To prevent any data errors, the sample size for my study, I have rounded up to 20 to prevent any data errors during the data collection. So the instruments for the study. So there are two assessments. So the first test would be the Planck test. A Planck test, we will be using a cushion mat to give comfort to the participants. And the second test would be the manual Y balance test. We are using a Y-shaped testing grid. So for the data collection procedure, first is the informed consent signing. Second is the preparation of the participants. Third is the physical testing. So we will start with the Planck test first, followed by the Y balance test. And then the data recording, followed by the data checking. And lastly is the data analysis using SPSS software. So for the data analysis, I will be using a Shapiro Wilk test due to the small sample size, and this data will be analyzed using the SPSS software. So here are the some of the reference used inside this presentation. So that's all for me. Thank you to my respected panels, and I hope I could do better during the Q&A session next week, inshallah. Thank you.